you know, I've had a lot of people speak to me that have been victims of satanic abuse, a hell of a lot, and you know what goes on in there. And
but people will say, sorry to interrupt you, John, but people will say, it just doesn't exist, satanic panic.
Yeah.
You do a bit more research and have a look, you know, there's a lot of testimony and stuff out there.
You know, one guy said to me, who spent his whole sort of working life seeking out Satanists, and he's turned around and went, yeah, there is satanic panic, they're panicking.
Is that Wilfred Wong?
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah, Wilfred the gentleman. I've reached out to him. I'm hoping to have a chat with him soon. You know, he's busy.
I'll arrange that for you.
If you would, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to chat with him, because
that's what a true man is. Wilfred Wong. I mean, that man is fearless.
Yes.
And I mean, absolutely fearless. He's he's been very, very helpful to me. You know.
On that note, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, that'd be absolutely amazing, because it is important information, and it's not very nice. I know it's not very nice, but a lot of people are ready to hear it. They are at that point where they want to know what's going on, and to actually get a grip and know what's going on, you have to have a working knowledge of all this stuff, and it is unfortunately very unpleasant, but it is what it is. This is where we're at. This is where we found ourselves. What would be nice if we could, I was going to ask you about Sabine McNeil. I know you've mentioned him, but can you just give us a little bit more of a commentary from your side of the fence, or from your perspective, of how that case came about and what you saw and what, you know?
The funny thing is, I was contacted at the very beginning of it by Brian Gerrish, and said, look, you need to watch this video anyway and give me your opinion. And I watched it, and having been someone who's interviewed children for many years, there's a thing called a free-flowing narrative.
Yes.
Kids are in the zone and they speak, it just comes out. Boom, boom, boom. And kids are pretty much open books. And I think it was a young boy when he was talking. I think it was just free-flowing. It was just, oh, that kid's not lying. No. That kid. So what I did was, I then got in touch with my detective inspector, top guy, and said, have a look at this. So he looked at it, and then he said, right, I'm going to deal with this. So he then took it to the head of the child abuse command. He did it straight away within an hour. He went mad, and he was told, back down, back down. And when I looked, I had access to quite a bit of the paperwork for that, and I looked at the crime report. It's called a CRIS report, crime reporting system, right? When you manage a crime, it's difficult to get rid of them. They stay on the system for ages, you know, if you want to just write them off. It's probably a bit easier now, but back then it was quite hard going. So even if you had a theft, it could be on the system for 3 months before it's fully gone away. That crime, I think, from being reported to being got rid of, was something like 6 weeks. And bear in mind, you were talking allegations of murder and torture. That's just unbelievable. It just didn't make any sense whatsoever. So I've always said about this, I believe the children, I don't believe the parents. And that's what I've said. I'm totally on board. I don't know. I keep getting the thing, there's a failure to protect with the parents here. And I know one was involved, but again, you know, it's the line.
It's been used to muddy the waters, from what I can see, John. The fact that there might be some involvement on the other side, there's so much of muddying of the waters. But I've seen all the videos, I've seen all the interview videos, I've seen the analysis of the interview videos. You're not going to convince me that that's a hoax. I'm afraid not. Sorry.
No, I'm telling you the truth, in my opinion.
Yeah. I defy anyone to watch those videos, and you know they're not very pleasant to listen to. But if you're ready for that kind of information, then you can't watch that and think they're lying, can you? You know, it's just not. It's just not.
Well, again, it's what's called the free-flowing narrative. Yeah. They just go into it. They free flow, and it is. You can see it's experimental memory. It's just coming straight out of their head, straight into their head. It's not filtering. You know, they're not stopping to pause to remember if they've been briefed, and they've been briefed right. And if they have been briefed, they'll be looking at. I mean, the problem you had evidentially is whoever did that video, the initial one, not the police one, there's rules of giving evidence, right? And they've totally breached the rules. So therefore, evidentially, I can see why the police couldn't use it.
Right.
Because there's only 4 questions you must ask a child when you interview them. Tell me, explain, describe, and show. Anything like that evidence will be thrown out.
Considered as leading, I guess, is it?
Because it's leading, it's coaching, and it's all sorts of things. And there's things like encourages. You know, you got to sit on your hands when you interview a kid because you can do this and you can encourage a kid. And if they see you smile, they know that they're doing something to please you, so they'll keep saying that thing. You see,
right?
So
Yeah,
why the interviewer is videoed when the person being interviewed. You know, so it's all that. So I can see why the police couldn't use the evidence. Not that they would anyway, because they didn't want to. But yeah, and
what was Sabine's position in
yeah,
all that, John? What was Sabine's? You know, how was her involvement?
well,
All that? It was a 9-year sentence for what was it?
I mean, I think they've accused her of perverting justice, don't they? That she's leaked something she shouldn't have leaked, and so there's a divided camp. But again, it's got very spiteful, that world as well.